Can PvP builds work in PvE? Can you solo the content or do some of the hardest content while wearing PvP gear? Well, we're here to tell you we think you can, and you can do it well. Welcome to Ghana Gamers. We're a family of gamers in Ghana who love all things comics and anime. Today we're going up with our Vampire Hunter D showcase. We're going to finish this out with the end boss in Veteran Vatishron Hollows. This is Malborgia. Now this boss is difficult for a lot of different reasons here. And what we decided to do was use Leeching Strikes because this will give us greater sustain. As we fight, after the effect ends, we get like almost 5k stamina. And every time we do a light attack, we get health, like a k 1000 or so health. Also, we decided to use the Shadow ability, Shadow Image. So Shadow Image is the morph of Shadow that allows you to teleport to your target or where you last cast it at. So as you see, we buff up fully. We keep our rally going, your momentum, and we use a Shadow Image, and we can port back anytime we want to that last spot. Now this will be for the shield. It's not that we need it for when the wall comes up. As you'll see, we have the DPS to do that, and we'll prove it with the first wave she calls out here. It's just that it makes the fight a lot easier, and you can focus on just DPSing her down without having to worry about that extra mechanic. And a lot of people, like the Sorks, have a way of getting past that with their streak. DKs can leap over the line or whatever, but this is the way that Nightblades can. And as always, we're using the two sets that allow us to maximize this Vampire Hunter build here. Unleash Terror is the first set, which applies a nasty dot, and the second one is Oblivion's Edge, which gives massive damage. So here's a wall up right here, and we're going to show you that you can absolutely DPS this down, no problem, with this build. As you can see, it's not really a big thing. We're out of it. The reason why we're keeping the Shadow Image on there is so that we can get past this, so we can stay on her. Because you see, I had to stop damaging her to then get out of that field, or make sure I got out of that field. Now I can stay on her until the last second and just port out anytime I want. As always, this build requires you to keep cleave on your target and to keep your charge up on your target. This would allow you to maximize your damage, these dots you're putting on her, as well as keeping yourself safe, because cleave gives you a small shield, and it allows you to, like I said, cleave all the adds around her, because that's one of the biggest problems with this encounter is the adds. Those big boys, you want to get them down. You do not want these lurchers, these shadow lurchers or whatever they are, to get on you, too many of them. If they stack up, it can be problematic for any build. Now, this being a vampire build, it is problematic with fire. That gives us the most issue here. Now, you see what I just did there. I cast my Shadow Image, went back, and I'm back on the boss again. Just avoiding all the nasty little AoEs on the ground, and just continue to damage the boss at will until I want to get out. And I get out, go right back to the boss, and continue damaging again. As I said, this allows us to keep DPS on the boss so we don't have to stop to worry about breaking that field. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it saves you a few seconds and allows you to get that extra damage on. So now comes the portal phase. And this is the determining factor for how successful you will be in this. Some people like to go red first to get out of the way. I choose green or blue and then red last. So I'm going green first because this encounter is not really that bad. This Minotaur with this little AoE on the ground is not that big of a thing. It is fire damage, which hurts vampires, but it's easily avoidable, and there's no consistent damage with it. So we burn this down, and then after this, we go into blue, and then finally red, because red is the most dangerous of the portals out of this, and we want to keep that for last, as well as keep up all of our buffs up for that last phase so we can run them back to back and kill her with very little issue. So as you see, keeping that rotation is key, and as I stated, being an average player, I'm not really great with rotations. This works really well for me. I'm able to just simply cleave, 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 charge, and then, you know, weave some light attacks in so that I'm getting my health back, as well as when it ends, I get stamina back. So portal's over, we're back on the boss. She got a little health back, but that's nothing really too big of a deal. Again, same plan as before. Go up, place your little shadow mine down. There you go, that's your little proxy. Go back into the boss. Make sure you try to keep your debuffs on her as much as possible. And then when they get close, you teleport out, go right back to the boss again. And always try to keep the ads clear. Now that we've done the green side, we have that effect of that green portal, which is that fiery AoE thing down on the ground, those rocks. I like to call them hot rocks. Now, this is not too damaging, and with your sustain from the gear and your build, you can just power through that, really. It's not really a big deal. However, later when we get the blue up, you do not want to stand in that blue lightning field while she does that. That is not something you can tank and the green one at the same time, especially not with the red as well, because when that red starts channeling, you better interrupt that channel or that'll be the end of you, and you have to start this over again. So as always, just avoid the nastiness on the ground. Try to keep the ads to a bare minimum as much as possible. Every time you kill an ad, you get a huge amount of health back, and just keep your dots going, and everything will just fall over. This build is beautiful as it just bleeds everything out. So we're getting close to our time. There we go. I didn't bother putting the shadow down because, hey, there was no point. She was about to die. So now blue is next. This is the one where I was just expressing that you cannot stand in this while you're out there fighting her. You have to avoid those little lightning pulses that are placed on the ground here. And we keep Dawnbreaker because it's just another dot. Like, this is a total dot build here, right? We got dot from Charge, we got dot from Cleave, we got dot from Dawnbreaker. This is just you're dotting everything up and watching it fall over. So it's all about cleave and then weaving in light and heavy attacks in between. You'll get good sustain from your shadow abilities, and you'll also get great damage from your bleeds. Just, you have to keep them up. That's the whole thing. And this works well in PvP too. The pressure that this puts on people in PvP, I cannot stress how important it is. Like, they can't really fight you because they spend all their time either trying to cleanse the dots or heal through it, which allows you to fight freely. As you saw in the video we put up, if you haven't checked it out, please check out our PvP video. I was able to kill 2-3 people at a time because nobody could really focus on me because I had to deal with those bleeds. So that phase is over. We only got one portal phase left, and as I said, just avoid the lightning. That at all costs. You can stand in the red, but avoid the lightning. At this point, I advise avoiding everything, honestly. So we're putting up our little shadow image out there, continue to DPS on the boss, wait until it gets closer, and it's getting a little hot in here, so I'm out of here. This hurts. And then go right back on the boss again. Also, get down these pesky archers, these little goo things. You don't want those up too much because the less AoE things you have on the floor, the less damage you're taking overall, the better your odds are of completing this. She'll just continue to release lurchers. Just burn them down when they come up. Nothing can really stand up to the damage you're doing here. So, like I said, just burn them down and make sure you're keeping her in all your AoE attacks, all your cleaves. Everything you hit, she needs to be hit also. So this is why you maximize your damage. When your ultimate comes up, your Dawnbreaker, put it down. No need of saving it, put it down. Since you're using your shadow image to get out, you don't have to worry about trying to use it on the wall when it comes up, when her minions come up. Just keep that damage on her and keep the pressure on the boss, just like you would a player. I'm a PvPer, so I don't really do much with PvE, and this allows me to do what I do well while playing in my style. So you see, this is the green portals effect, that lava stuff on the ground. That's not really a problem. What I'm really avoiding is the lightning. That has to be sidestepped. You can't really take that. That's no bueno. The archers can be annoying too. They're probably some of the most annoying damage in here. They're not particularly threatening, but when they get up and constantly pestering you with the boss's AoEs on the ground, it can be problematic. So now as we work our way towards this last phase here, just keep your discipline. Keep your charge on the boss, keep your cleaves on the boss, and then keep weaving in your medium and heavy attacks so that you're constantly refreshing your health, your stamina, as well as keeping these bleeds and this dot damage up. Dawnbreaker's back up again. Get yourself set up. Oh, we're gonna take this portal actually. Last one here is red. Now, a lot of people will be tempted to go ahead and use some of these support buffs here, right? Because this is a tough part. I advise against it. You can, if you play this right, this isn't too threatening. You see, just make sure you follow his little circle and stay out of his big damage. Avoid the patterns on the ground and kill that ad when it comes up. Do not let that ad channel that fire flame ability, and you'll be fine. This guy right here doesn't really hit hard. His whole thing is about catching you with his little channel thing, which spins on the ground. If he can't catch you with that, he's not going to kill you. Now, those ads with the fire channel, they will kill you. So you have to make sure after you kill them, you put him down because you don't want to see another one of those up. This is where your damage comes into a big play here, because if you get another one up again, you got to go through another cycle of this, and it just becomes a nightmare. So I went ahead and unleashed my Dawnbreaker, cleaving, and you see the ads up over there, but I'm going to get him down, get an interrupt on, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here. There's no point of just sitting here anymore. I'll deal with this one on the other side. And then when we get on the other side, you're fully free to take advantage of all the buffs now, right? Because you saved them just for this moment. So I can ignore all the little ads and everything they do and focus on the boss, outside of making sure you get your little teleport issue up here, your shadow image. Go ahead and focus right back on that boss. They're not going to kill you with this AoE stuff, especially not with the buff you have going on. That healing cup is crucial. Like you see, it's ticking for like 5K a tick. I'm not going to take any real damage during this point. No one will. So now you take this moment to cleave everything together. The boss will come to you, so bring her to the ads and then burn everything down at once. Make sure you deal with the channels instantly. Do not let them up, and avoid the lighting on the ground. That is key to getting through this. And it's not that difficult if you can get yourself into a groove here. Even for people who don't particularly do well in PvE situations. This guy right here is almost dead. Channel done. I'm gonna make sure the lurcher dies too, as well as hitting this boss, because the lurchers getting on you, hitting you with those heavy attacks and those cone attacks can be devastating as well. Always make sure the boss is getting caught in your ultimate. Dawnbreaker always needs to be on that boss. So now our buff is down. We need to get ready to teleport out and pick up another buff. Get back to the middle, get back on the boss, or get this flame caster down. Yeah. And with this flame shaper up, this guy would be super annoying. Teleport out. Let me go get a good buff here. Shield will be nice. Now the shield will reflect all the damage back at them, so they're of no consequence at this point. I'm on the boss, because they're just hitting themselves because of the shield. So take this time to put that extra burn on the boss. And you can make her, as I said, come back to you. If you move, Malborgia will move as well. So move her to them and put them in cleave range, and just cook everything down at one time. Just make sure you always keep all your buffs up. That's the whole thing. And the rotation is so simple that you only have 2 buffs you're really keeping up. And other than that, you're keeping them cleave and charge on the target. You're good to go. Bash when necessary, and just burn everything down at once. She's in a critical zone here, so at this point, all you have to do is execute the victory. Very simple. Please, if you want to see how to use this build in PvP, check out our PvP video where we show you the proper rotation and the tactics necessary to have success. This build is extremely effective in both PvE and PvP. Until next time.